Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you're watching from. It's time for Enlightened Conversations. It's Tobi Adelusi. It's the fourth episode, and today I like to proceed with talking about red flags that a woman must look out for when you're about to make the decision of who to marry. Some of those things are contained in this book, which is just released on Amazon. It's titled The Enlightened Single. I believe strongly that marital decisions comes with consequences like every other decision, and we must be deliberate in making a good decision. Let's go to 1 Samuel chapter 25. There is a story of a mismatch in the Bible, and it is the foundation upon which this book is built in 1 Samuel chapter 25. I read from verse 2. The Bible says there was a man in Maon whose business and possessions were in Carmel. And the man was very rich. He had 300,000 sheep and 1,000 goats, and he was sharing his sheep in Carmel. Now the man's name was Nabal, and his wife's name was Abigail. She was intelligent and beautiful in appearance, but the man was harsh and evil in his dealings. He was a Calebite. One of the things that comes to mind when I talk to young people is a rate at which people concentrate on wealth and materialism in determining who they get married to. And it's important that we address these issues to look at certain red flags before you make the choice of who to marry. I know it's natural that women are attracted to wealth, stature, positions, and all of that. But the marriage decision is one that must be made with a lot of discretion. Yeah, because like I said, decisions carry consequences, and decisions determines destiny. So the Bible says there was a man here. There was a man. His name was Nabal. The word Nabal means foolish. And in fact, in writing this book, I did a research and found out that there were about 5 words used for foolish or a fool in the Bible. Nabal is like the highest, is like the university of foolishness. In the scriptures, there is the simple fool. That's the number 1 fool. There is a silly fool. There is a sensual fool. Number 4, there is a scorning fool. Maybe in another episode I'll talk about all of that. Number 5 is the steadfast fool. Nabal means the steadfast fool. It means stupid, wicked. It's translated vile. When you read, for instance, Psalm 14 verse 1, where the Bible says, the fool has said in his heart, there is no God. The word fool there is the word Nabal. So the Nabal has said in his heart. You see, it's past. He has said it. He's not going to change it. He has said in his heart, and he's still saying in his heart, he's a steadfast fool. He's the chief of all fools. He's the university of fools. Now, so the question is, the word Abigail means one that makes the father's heart glad. And that's why I named my daughter Abigail. But the question, and the Bible says she was intelligent. So note that she was intelligent and beautiful in appearance. So she was not beauty without brain. She was a combination of beauty and brain. The question is, how did Abigail end up marrying Nabal, the foolish? This guy was steadfastly foolish. He grew up knowing that his name meant foolish, and he never changed it. Have you read the story of people who changed their names? This guy grew up, knew his name meant foolish. He didn't change it. He was a steadfastly foolish person. And there are many people like that till today. So the question is, why do good people make bad choices, or good women marry bad men, or good men marry bad women? It's still a phenomenon that goes on in our world today. It is because they look away from red flags. The red flags are always there. And for you as a believer, you must know how to balance revelations and realities. Because the choice of who you marry goes a long way to determine your destiny. So let's talk about a few red flags. Number 1 is wealth without wisdom. Naturally, you will have thought nobody should make wealth without wisdom. But again, it's a world of contradictions. There are people who have wealth, but you really cannot see the wisdom that built the wealth. That shows you that even that wealth is only temporary. It is transient in nature. Because you need wisdom to sustain wealth. It could have been bequeathed to him, he could have inherited it, he could have made it by a dint of luck or something, but you need wisdom to sustain wealth. Nabal had wealth, but he was a fool. I pity the generation of women who say, after money, na money. If you are in Nigeria, you know what I'm talking about. Some people think it's all about money. Money without meaning is a disaster. An enlightened husband is supposed to be the captain of your ship as a woman. If the ship is an expensive one, it could be a Ferrari, a BMW. You know, somebody said it's better to be in a BMW crying than to be on the bike laughing. I wonder where people get their values from. If the captain of your ship, no matter how expensive it is a fool, then you're ready for a shipwreck. Think about it that way. He had wealth, but he was foolish. This guy, if you read that story in 1 Samuel chapter 25, he will have wasted Abigail's life and the life of everybody in his home, if not for the intelligence of Abigail. So if you see wealth without wisdom, the guy drives a beautiful car, puts on nice clothing, but when he speaks, he spews rubbish. You want to be very careful. You want to be very careful. Number 2 is charisma without character. The word charisma is from the word charismata. You know, people have charisma. They're powerful. And naturally, women are attracted to charismatic people. Either he's economically powerful, he's politically powerful, he's a sports person, you know, he's doing something good, you know, and all of that. But charisma without character is a disaster waiting to happen. Nabal had economic power. He would have been a charismatic person. He was leading a great company, but he had a bad character. The Bible did not hide from us that he had a bad character. He says he was churlish. The word churlish means being rude in a mean-spirited and surly way. So he was mean-spirited. He was a rude person. Some women think if he has money, he has charisma, I can do away with his character. You will find out that you can't do away with his character. That's what you're going to live with for the rest of your life. And his charisma is not going to make you look away from that character. Charisma is great, but character is greater. You must pay attention to how the man you want to marry treats other people. If you are the only one that is being treated properly, I tell you, it's a facade. It's fake. It's only a matter of time. You are going to be in a lot of trouble. So do not look away from the red flag of a bad character. Character is key. Character is key. I can't say that too much. Character is key. Number 3, you know, the Bible told the story of how David sent his men to Nabal. Valor without value, you know, saying they have saved your sheep and all of that. Can you just give us something for sustenance? He had more than enough. He called the bluff of David. Said all these guys who will run away from. So he knew who David was. Don't forget, David was a national hero. He had killed Goliath. Everybody knew him. He was a king in waiting, as it were. But of course, it was a rough time in his life, and he was trying to, you know, get by. When his servants came to Nabal, in his foolishness, he called the bluff of David. He did not even have the value of, you know, celebrating good work. Not even thank you for taking care of my sheep, you know, and my cattle and all of that. No, this guy was not going to say thank you. When David's men came to him, he spoke harshly to them. Who is David? Who is the son of Jesse? There are many servants today, each of whom is breaking away from his master. So shall I take my bread and my water and my meat that I have slaughtered for my sharers and give it to men when I do not know where they are from? David's men returned to him and told him how they had been treated with disdain and scorn. And David made up his mind that he was going to kill everybody in Nabal's household. When he was speaking like that, you would think, oh, he was a man of courage, he was a man of valor. But you see, even if a person is a man of valor and does not have value for good things, he's a dangerous person to live with. He's going to attract unnecessary battles. He has no respect for others. He does not appreciate others. Then that's a disaster waiting to happen. Do not look away from red flags. Most of the time when people end up in a regret, it is because they looked away from the red flags. Don't do it. There is more to man than his wealth, than his charisma, and what looks like his valor. You've got to look out for values. Does this guy appreciate timeliness? What is his understanding of the dignity of labor, right? Is he polite? Look at all of those things so that you don't end up in a one chance that leads you to nowhere. I'd like you to get this book. It's really going to bless you. The Enlightened single is about 186 pages or thereabout. Talks about red flags. Timely wisdom from this timeless story of Nabal and Abigail. And I'm sure it's going to be a blessing to you. God bless you and have a great day.